Well, hey everybody, it's Bradford, your carnivore curmudgeon, and it's week number 4 on my 1 month challenge to eat all of my carnivore meals from what I already had in the pantry on May 31st or in the freezer on May 31st, with the exception of eggs. And speaking of eggs, if you like eggs, you're going to love this week's video because I ate a ton of eggs. But what did I eat with those eggs? Found some interesting things in the freezer, made some interesting recipes. Wanted to take you along for what I made and ate this week. And it's right there, it is. And of course, the week started out with some meal prep on Sunday night. And so I pulled out these 2 pounds of ground chicken that have been in the freezer for many, many weeks. I'm not even sure for exactly how long. I also had this heart, kidney, and let's say Outback Down Under from a buck that we're going to cook up this week. And that started with getting it out of the bag and getting it nice and clean. And we're going to marinate this. So I want to get this into the refrigerator to marinate for a couple of days. A lot of people turn their nose up at these pieces, but I think that they're nutritious and they taste good if they're prepared right. The heart, I think, is probably the best part of the entire deer. It almost tastes like filet mignon when you cook it right. So it just takes a little bit of tender care to prep it right. I like to cut the heart thin. And then on these testicles, you have to remove the tough outer membrane. And then for the kidney parts, all I do is just sort of fillet them and take that hard inner part out. And then here comes the marinade. It's time to get them in the fridge. A little olive oil, followed by a little bit of salt. I'll put a link in the description where I got this recipe. Some fresh ground black pepper, some couple of shakes of red wine vinegar, some Where's Your Sister sauce, just maybe a tablespoon, some oregano, and some ground thyme. I go sparingly on this. It can be overpowering for me. Give it a good whiskey whisk and put all those pieces into a Ziploc bag. And we're just going to coat it really well. Squish it all around. Make sure all the pieces have some marinade on it. And then we're going to remove as much air as possible and put it into the fridge for a couple of days. I'll spare you the chaffle recipe. I just made some chaffles. And to go on those chaffles at work, I took a couple of cans of tuna. Yes, it looks like cat food, but we're going to fix that. I put in some chopped pickles and a little bit of the spicy brown mustard. Gave it a good stir. And then about, one hard-boiled egg went into the tuna. And then I would say probably about less than a quarter of a cup of chopped onion, probably an eighth of a cup. I've been waiting for a long time to use this Primal Kitchen Mayo. I usually make my own, but I bought this for when I didn't feel like making my own, and that day was this day. So I gave it a try. It was good. It was pretty tasty mayo. I don't know how long the shelf life is on this, but I did find that I didn't use enough. I got the tuna salad mix got a little bit dry over the course of the next few days. But a little seasoning doesn't hurt. Pepper, salt, and then it's time to just get it into a bowl, and I'll take it to work with me where I'm going to eat it for the next 3 days for lunch. Monday, I had it on a chaffle. Tuesday, I had it on a chaffle. And then Wednesday, I mixed it up with a chaffle with pickles on top. So Monday night, I decided I was going to use this ground chicken that I pulled out by making a pizza crust out of it. It's got some cheese in it, some egg, some seasoning. It wasn't a whole lot of ingredients. And there's all kinds of YouTube videos on how to make a chicken pizza crust. I have made them before, but it's been a long time. But after I mixed it up really good, I just flattened it out as flat as I could. Really wanted it as thin as I could get it. Sort of made a little edge around the perimeter to hold in the toppings. Not that there was a whole lot to hold in there, but I don't know. It seemed right. And then for the toppings, I didn't have any pepperoni that was still in the fridge from prior to June 1st. So I took this venison summer sausage and I chopped it up real fine. And I used that for sort of the substitute pepperoni for this pizza. And it was tasty. It was good as far as being a substitute goes. And after I baked this in the oven for, I think it was about 10 minutes. Again, you can find recipes for this. I put on my toppings, which consisted of that pepperoni. I do allow myself a little bit of tomato product, so I sprinkled on some of this ragu, simply ragu, I think it's called. And then I put some leftover picadillo that I made last week on top. Topped it with some cheese, baked it for a little while. And, uh, I'm going to call this recipe a meh. I ate this piece, and I ate this piece, and I even ate this piece. But the rest, well, it went to this guy for the next few days. I just wasn't that impressed with it. Now, Tuesday night, I had some leftover chuck roast, and it was time to do something with it. So I heated it up in a pan, put some scrambled eggs on top of it, and that was first of many scrambled eggs this week. Oh, but Wednesday night, here it comes, folks. It was time to take the marinated venison organs out and let them come up to temperature and then take them out on a screaming hot grill. And I think I cooked these maybe 2 minutes per side. It just doesn't take very long. They're so thin. And then into a bowl to go up to the main kitchen back at the ranch where I sliced it up and sampled it, and it was amazing. I really could have just stood there and eaten the whole thing, but I wanted to cube it up and then, like I did the night before, just sort of warm it up in some butter, like I did that chuck roast. And yeah, one got away from me, but the dog got that one. And then I took the juices from it and scrambled the eggs up in the juices and made this big old pile of delicious venison organs with eggs. Thursday lunch was very simple: some venison sausage, a snack stick, and a hard boiled egg at my desk. Thursday, I got one of the kielbasas out that I made, got a video on that if you're interested. And I just sliced it up real simply, put some bacon fat in, and I took the second pound of that ground chicken and that kielbasa and just made, now that's not scrambled eggs, that's the chicken after it's all been cooked up with the kielbasa. And then I added some butter to the pan and some garlic cloves and let that butter sort of get infused. Took some shrimp that was already cooked. I had this in the freezer. It was pre-cooked shrimp. And after a couple of minutes, I took out those garlic cloves. I didn't want those in the dish itself. I just wanted the butter to sort of taste like the essence of garlic, and gave that a good stir. And then when I was ready to eat a little while later, I put that ground chicken and venison, pardon me, kielbasa mix back in the pan. And I added the shrimp back in and warmed it all through. I intended to have this for two different meals, but to be perfectly honest, I put some eggs on this and ended up eating all of it that evening. And I was not disappointed. It was rich, it was kind of buttery and creamy and garlicky, and it was worth every minute of preparation. Friday, I was able to get off work just a little bit early, and so I came home and had a sausage and some cheese and mustard. But Friday night just felt like taco night, so I unleashed some venison that I had canned up this previous fall, put on just a basic taco seasoning, gave it a good stir, and then I added a little bit of water to loosen it up and make it like that common chain that many of us used to go to. Of course, you can't have a taco bowl without some cheese, which I shredded up and added to the pan, and then just put it in a bowl with some sour cream. And again, this looked like it should have been more than one meal, but I ate the whole thing Friday night. Uh, sure was tasty. A simple Saturday morning, a little leftover kielbasa sliced up and fried with some eggs on top. Hit the spot just about right. But now, Saturday night, what to do? Well, I thought out these lamb bites. You might remember from week one, I smoked a lamb and I had a pound left over that was already queued up. So I took it and tossed it in some butter. And you'll never guess what I put in there with it: scrambled eggs. I knew you wouldn't see that coming. But scrambled eggs with some Parmesan on top of it, and then a little bit of cottage cheese made for a delightful Saturday evening dinner. I thawed out and cooked some breakfast sausage on Sunday morning, a favorite of ours. This is a homemade breakfast sausage that I made. I think it was week one of the previous videos. You can see where I made that. And it's always a hit. It's only better if there's bacon along with the sausage. But you'll never guess what I did with this for breakfast. That's right, fried eggs. Can you believe it, folks? I really pulled a fast one on you and used fried eggs instead of scrambled. And let me tell you, it was just as delicious as all those scrambled eggs that I ate earlier in the week. It was not disappointing having so many eggs this week. A lot of great meals, all from the freezer, all from the pantry. So that's it, folks. That's 4 weeks of eating all of my carnivore meals from the pantry or the freezer. You never know what you might find if you dig deep enough in that freezer. If you've got some freezer food filling up that space, dig around in there or check your pantry and see what you might have, and then figure out a way to get creative with it. It's actually kind of fun and keeps things sort of spicy, if you will, in the carnivore world, figuring out how to make something other than just a steak. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Hope you enjoyed these last few weeks. I enjoyed putting them together for you, and I hope to see you next time.